Here's how to quickly set up redirects in your WordPress website, and I'll go through each one and explain what it kind of means. So if you don't have Rank Math installed, download that because we'll be using that in this example. Once you've got it installed, you'll go through a setup wizard and you'll go through all the steps. And then after the steps, return back to your dashboard or just click here, and then you'll be looking for the 404 monitor. So make sure you turn that one on because we'll need that later. Then scroll down until you see redirections. Toggle that one on, and then we're pretty much good to go. From there, you'll see a little redirections area in the little left-hand panel. If you don't see it, just refresh, then click on redirections. Now, you'll be able to see that I've got some set up, right? I've got the old URL going to the new URL, right? What type it is and how many people have hit this redirect in general. So this redirect has been hit 546 times, which just means someone has visited this and it has redirected them. 546 times it's been redirected. Whereas some of them, other ones don't have any redirects, so I probably should delete them. So here's how to set it up. Click Add New, and then you might have the URL. You don't need the full URL itself. You can just say something like this with a / at the end, and you're good to go because it will automatically insert the root directory before it, or the root URL, the root domain. And then with the destination URL, you can paste in the full URL that you want people to go to, and then you set up the redirection type. So we'll go through some of these redirection types just so that we're both on the same page. So a 301 is basically when you want to pass, all of your current link juice and your rankings over to a new URL, as long as it's relevant to the old URL that you're passing from, okay? And so that just tells Google to index the new URL, but with the same rankings of the old one. Kind of makes sense. That's why you're kind of doing this, okay? Now, if there's ever a case where you're redesigning a page on your website and you don't really want people to see it, but you want to retain your SEO quality or your SEO juice, then you might want to set up a redirect that's temporary. And so this basically retains the original URL to make sure it's still indexed until you remove the redirection. So you might point them to somewhere like a homepage or something just temporarily because you know it's not going to be permanent. And Google will not really take the redirect that seriously, so it won't basically pass all the your link juice over to the new one. So that's this one here and this one here, whereas we already went through the 301s. Now for deleted content, Google recommends that, if you've ever had to take down content, it is a good idea just to let their bots know with this and to use those, but we won't cover this in the video. With the 302 and 307, sometimes it's a good idea to use the scheduled deactivation little feature here, where basically it can automatically activate and deactivate the redirect whenever you want them to, right? Pretty cool feature inside of Rank Math. It makes your life a lot easier. Once you've done all that, you can just add redirection. Now I did miss some of these things on this whiteboard, which I want to cover. So basically you want to redirect the old pages with valuable backlinks. So you've already built up some reputation and SEO quality. You want to then send them to a relevant URL so you can preserve the equity. Now, on the contrary, if you are sending them to unrelated content, so if you have a page that sells forks and you're redirecting people to a page that sells spoons, Google are going to see this as a very nuisance of a user journey. Like, they're not going to be happy about that. And so chances are they could de-rank you for a lot of your rankings on the old URL for forks and also for spoons, right? You'll be penalized for both. And so this is what's known, or sometimes known as a soft 404. So that's something to keep in mind. Sometimes it's a good idea to leave it as a 404, okay? Or to tell Google that it's permanently deleted. The content's been deleted and just leave it, right? And so the bots can start to take it away from the index of the search engines because it's low value. So what else do we have? You need to point each redirect straight to the final URL. So Google doesn't want to see you pointing to, like, creating multiple redirects. So let's say you set up a redirect from URL A to URL B, and then URL B goes to URL C, and you've got this chain of redirects, and it makes a bad user experience, but also it takes up all of your crawl budget, and Google will basically waste all your budget with the bots crawling your pages, and they won't have time to index all your other pages on the website. So try not to have redirects that are, or redirect chains is what they call them. And finally, you don't want to delete any of the redirects that you've set up if they're 301s. So if you've set up some redirects as I have, you want to make sure you retain this whole thing, this whole redirect that you've set up for at least a year, so that you give Google enough time to index the new page for that kind of search term. Now, sometimes it's safe to delete some of them if they're like getting no hits whatsoever. But usually Google are basically saying, hey, I know that you removed this link 6 months ago and you're redirecting to this new page, but try to keep it up to 12 months so that we've got enough time to index so that we reduce this number here. Okay. And so with that said, they also give the same advice whenever you're moving from an old domain. So you did a rebrand for your business and you bought a new domain under a new brand, and you're trying to migrate from the old domain to the new domain. Google gives the same advice. They basically say keep on to your old domain for at least 12 months so we have enough time to index. So that's everything you need to know about redirects inside of WordPress. As you can see, it's so easy to set up. You just got to be super careful with the types of redirects that you're setting up, the reasons why. Try to avoid redirect chains, and you should be good to go. I'm going to leave some extra information on the commentary around redirects and SOP 404s and how they're treated in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.